Hi everyone, Father Scott Vanderveer here with an installment of our series on creating holy moments in our lives. This first week of Lent, the gospel is all about Jesus resisting temptation. And he shows us in the story of him going to the desert to pray and to fast from food for 40 days and 40 nights, that it is possible to resist temptations to eat or become undisciplined, to glorify ourselves, or to put anything before God in any moment of our lives. And one of the lessons he teaches us is that we are called to employ the spiritual practice of resistance at times. Sometimes in the spiritual life, we're called to draw closer, to lean in. Other times, we are called to push away. I remember a friend one time telling me that his secret to dieting was one exercise: pushing away from the table. It makes sense. There is no way to outrun your fork. There's no amount of exercise that can undo the effects of overeating, something that many of us struggle with, myself included. So the best exercise we can ever do is resistance, to say, I will have one serving of each of these items, as long as I'm not allergic to them or they don't cause me harm. I'll have one serving of everything presented to me. I won't go for seconds. And I won't allow myself to sit there and pick when someone else says, does anybody want any of my fries? Oh no. The answer is always yes if I'm still sitting at the table. So one of the things that some friends of mine do, especially those who are moms or dads who have little kids who never finish their chicken nuggets or their tater tots, and it's always a temptation not to waste it, but to reach there and take it. Some of them place it on a faraway countertop or table somewhere out of sight and out of mind. I have one friend who pours water on it. She said, if the kids didn't want it, and if they were already touching it and gumming it, it's not good anyway. She pours water over it so that she's not tempted. In many facets of life, the real effort that is needed to avoid serious problems is resistance. Walking away, saying no. And that's why temptation, including the temptations of Jesus in the desert, it's not a bad part of our lives. Temptation is actually God's gracious way of allowing us to preview a situation in our lives that we could easily accomplish. If we feel tempted, for example, to have an affair, in the moment of the attraction, we can run a whole loop in our minds of what will happen if we give in to that temptation. We can imagine what it would be like to have to reveal to our spouse and children and parents and friends that we have not kept the vows that we made in front of all of them, children maybe not included, in front of God and all of them on a wedding day in the past. We made a vow that we wouldn't do that. We made a vow that although we knew we would be tempted at times, that we would never do that. And you know that they say the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. That's not an excuse to give in to temptation. That's a call to resist temptation, because we know that if we just ask our flesh for whether I should have more chicken nuggets or whether I should go to dinner with this person who I'm not married to, we know that that's the most natural thing in the world for our flesh to do. Our flesh is going to say, sure, give me some more. But that's why resistance is the energy that we so often need. Something that St. Augustine once said that is so powerful is this quote, which we read in the Office of Readings in the Liturgy of the Hours. Here's what St. Augustine said. He made us one with him when he chose to be tempted by Satan. In Christ, you were tempted, for Christ received his flesh from your nature. If in Christ we have been tempted, in him we overcome temptation. Do you think only of Christ's temptation and fail to think of his victory? See yourself as tempted in him, and see yourself as victorious in him. He could have kept the devil from himself, but if he were not tempted, he could not teach you and me how to triumph over temptation. There it is. Christ was fully human as well as fully divine. In his divinity, he could have prevented the experience of temptation, but no, he was like us in all things, except he never gave in. We sometimes give in, but Christ gives us the roadmap to not give in, to be able to withstand the temptation. It is an amazing truth that all of us have within us the drive, the qualities, the virtues we need in order to withstand temptation in all of its forms. So let us be grateful for this gospel and the way Christ shows us that we will be dancing with the devil throughout our lives, but we know how to overcome. And step number 1 is push away. May God bless you in creating holy moments this week, and may God watch over and protect us all.